We are still on the road to WrestleMania 15. And the next show we are covering here is the February 15th, 1999 edition of Monday Night Raw. Tro, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right.
Just fantastic. Not
Yep.
sick. I got a haircut.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks
Looking, looking a little different. The big tro.
good. That's a interesting pick for the user because your username because this is the first Monday Night Raw of Big Show's career, even though he is not Big Show yet. He's still Paul White on this show.
It's Paul White. Oh my God, that giant.
So it's crazy. It has been so long since we've done an episode. The last time we left off, the Mets were actually in the NLCS. They were headed towards the NLCS because I was just
The Mets,
looking.
the Mets were going to the NLCS. The Islanders were healthy.
The Islanders weren't
The
playing yet.
Daniel Jones was the quarterback of the Giants.
Yeah, big change for your team. Um,
Tommy Cutlets, baby. Let's go. We're gonna turn our season
you,
around. 9-8.
you guys better draft.
The Super Bowl run starts now, baby.
You guys better draft a quarterback this year. That's all I'm gonna
Nah,
say.
all the quarterbacks suck this year.
You never know. You never know.
We don't want that fucking distraction of
So I
Deion
said,
Sanders.
why not?
We don't
Why
need that
not
circus here
draft
because
some more?
we're not a circus
How do,
organization. We don't
how do
we
you
don't
know?
welcome that kind of crap
How do you know it's going to be a circus? Draft Sonor.
because
If I'm saying,
Deion Sanders is a fucking dick face and
nah, one of the
he's horrible. Like,
greatest, if not the greatest, corners of all time. You draft Sonor. If I'm saying his name wrong,
no,
I
he
apologize.
doesn't even want
And
to be. He's gonna pull an Eli Manning. He's gonna be like, I don't want to be here. Trade my
draft
ass, please.
draft him and sign Dion to be the head coach. There you go. But
No.
there, last time we left off, the Mets were on their way to the NLCS. I know that because I clicked on the video today and actually saw it. It said NLCS bound on my thing there. So the last time we left off, Mets were on the way to the NLCS, and we were covering a cage match between Mr. McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was our last show. St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and this was the night after, as we said, the February 15th, 1999 Raw, and let's get into that right. Hang on a minute. Ah, shit.
Live from Alabama.
Live from Alabama, yep. So the show kicked off with, I believe it was, hold on, I need to find something here. I thought I found something that covers the show, but, oh gosh. Okay, yeah, here we go, I got it. So the show kicks off with Commissioner Michaels coming out, and he announces, of course, the main event's going to be Mankind versus Stone Cold Steve Austin in the main event of WrestleMania. And before anything can be said after that, Mr. McMahon comes out. He's got a neck brace on. He's got bandage over his head because he obviously was just through hell in that cage match. And McMahon claims to be a broken man. He says he wants a fresh start with Austin on the condition that Austin apologizes. You really think Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to apologize?
Austin just takes I'm sorry. That was very unprofessional of me. I'm sorry for what I've done. Vince McMahon, you're a hell of a man, and I apologize. It just betrays the character completely.
Yeah, that's Austin's heel turn. So,
The original heel turn.
so Austin obviously does not apologize, but McMahon tells Michaels that people deserve a rematch with that WWE title match because Mankind didn't really win. If you remember, it was a double count out. They were both down for the 10 count, so a double count out. Mankind keeps the title, obviously, but the match ended in a draw. So Michaels, according to Mr. McMahon, needs to do his job and book the rematch for tonight. Mankind says he needs a week to recover. And so, yeah, Mankind says he needs a week to recover. But Mankind decides that, all right, he'll take on Rock after all. And then Mr. McMahon says, well, Michaels, make this your match. So we make sure there's a distinctive winner and there's no, ties or whatever, draws. And he says, make it a ladder match. And that is your main event for tonight.
Imagine he's like, make it your match. Hell in us.
Yeah.
Mankind's like, no, not again.
And then after that, McMahon welcomes the newest member of the corporation again, Paul White, not Big Show just yet. And he says that Paul White will be the special guest referee for the title match at WrestleMania, and Austin just flips off Paul to end that segment.
Damn, son, you fat, smelly bastard. You fucked up last night at St. Valentine. I wouldn't have won that damn match, son, if you didn't fucking throw me through the cage. And for some reason, Vince McMahon is perfectly okay with you being here. We ain't gonna bring that up. We ain't gonna bring that up.
Yeah, he flipped off the guy who made him WrestleMania main eventer.
That's just Austin's way of saying thank you.
Yeah. Although with that part ignored, I would still say this is a very good way to start the show. You got McMahon out there selling the injuries from last night, and obviously with the draw finish in the last man standing match, you know that there's going to be some type of rematch, and we get to that with the ladder match. So good segment to kick off the show. Next, we have a very short tag team match it's a mixed tag team match between Jeff Jarrett and Deborah taking on D'Lo Brown and Ivory. They went a double disqualification. So now, obviously, another draw. So now the new main event is actually a tag team ladder match. But no, I'm kidding.
Of course. Your match. Hell in a Cell again.
So at the end, there was a bit of a brawl between Ivory and Deborah, and it ended with Deborah smashing a guitar over poor Ivory's back. How dare you?
Never drew a dime. Broke 1,000. Ivory broke 1,000 guitars. Never drew.
No, that would be Deborah in this case, because
Deborah broke the guitar, never drew a dime.
Yeah. So
made bad cookies.
So the Stooges welcome in the next segment. The Stooges welcome Paul Wright to the company alongside with the rest of the corporation. That was a pretty cool little segment there. And now Triple H and X-Pac come to the ring and call out Kane and China, and they demand an immediate rematch. Shane McMahon comes out with Kane and China and says there will be no rematch, as he lets China know that China has the night off. And then X-Pac says, well, okay, then why don't you face me, Shane McMahon? To which Shane says, well, if you put the European title on the line, we'll do a tag match. You and Triple H versus me and Kane. X-Pac agrees, and that is going to be later tonight, that tag match. What did you think of this little segment here between Triple H, X-Pac, and yeah, go ahead. What did you think of this?
It does not make any sense how a singles title can be defended in a tag match. Like, what if Triple H pins Shane? Oh, I guess I'm now just the European champion, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Suck it, Europe.
See, I don't have no problem. I always thought title matches and tag matches was always a unique thing, so I really don't have a problem with it there. Muhammad says, but Deborah shaked 2 puppies and made a lot of dimes. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, so this segment right here, between Triple H, X-Pac, Kane, Shane, and China was pretty good too. Shane always a heel in my opinion, and he was pretty good here. So now we have backstage footage. Intercontinental Champion Val Venus and Ryan Shamrock are making out. So they're building up to the Intercontinental title match later in the night. Val Venus taking on BA or Badass, whatever you want to call him, Billy Gunn. And then now we're showing. Oh yeah, this was funny. This was funny. First, we were coming back from commercial after the Shamrock and Val Venus stuff. And at first, the first thing we see is actually a couple of nets, because this had been an arena where hockey team plays. We saw 2 nets standing by each other, which had nothing to do with the segment, but obviously as 2 hockey fans in this stream, I had to bring that up. So, but now we show Mankind.
What? This is Alabama. Why are they playing hockey in?
This show was in Alabama.
Well, this was Alabama.
Maybe it's a minor league team or something.
This was either Alabama or Memphis, and even Memphis wouldn't make any sense because, well, unless the Predators played in Memphis originally, I don't know.
No, it doesn't have to be an NHL team. It could be some different league, you know. I don't know.
I don't think there's any AHL Alabama teams.
I'm telling you, there were 2 nets right at the beginning of this segment. You can watch it on Peacock.
Maybe Mick Foley carries those nets around. That's his gimmick.
Mankind trying to be the next Patrick Waugh out here. Here's why this segment was so funny. Mankind is like in this little.
What the fuck happened?
I don't know how I got unmuted there. How much of that did you hear?
What?
How much of that did you hear? Because somehow my browser.
I'm pretty sure you were muted the whole time there. Hold on. I gotta fix myself. I'll be right back.
Okay, so I don't know how the hell I got muted there, but anyway, what happened was Mankind was like in this little ditch area where there's this small. Yeah, man, Muhammad says lost a bunch of that rant. It wasn't really a rant. I was just talking about how funny the segment was. So Mankind's like in this mini ditch area, and there's this little ladder. It's like maybe 4 or 5 rungs. And Tro's back. Hold on.
Yeah, so no, you were muted. You were muted the whole time there. I thought it was something on my end.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck happened there. So Mankind is like in this little ditch area. There's a mini ladder, like 4 or 5 rungs, and Mankind is like climbing it, like practicing for the ladder match, preparing for the ladder match. And it's like you realize that ladder is going to be a lot bigger once you get in the ring. It's a funny segment. Check it out on Peacock, I'm telling you. And you'll see, if you go to the episode and watch that segment, you will see there are 2 nets right at the beginning of the segment. I don't know what team it was for, but it maybe not even an AHL team. It could just
that's gonna be like the biggest mystery of this. They want to talk about WWE unsolved mysteries. This is the unsolved mystery.
Now, I know the pay-per-view was in Alabama, but are you
Hold
sure
on,
this show? Check. Let me see something.
I can check.
Oh, yeah, I think it's from Birmingham, Alabama. It says it on the website I'm right now. Yeah, live from Birmingham, Alabama. So now we have to look up Birmingham, Alabama hockey teams. I'll do that after the show, and I'll let you know if I find
It's the
somebody.
Civic Center. It's the Civic Center. So
Civic Center.
me,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. What civic? What hockey team was Gary Bettman trying to get to Alabama? This was his backdoor way. Hey, we got this new Thrasher team. We're gonna move them to Alabama.
Well, the Thrashers had just came in that year, but this is the year before the Blue
He's
Jackets
already
and
he's
Wild.
already trying to move them.
This is the year before the Blue Jackets and Wild came in. But I don't think there was any like maybe they'll go to Alabama. I don't think so. Um,
Alabama doesn't strike me as a hockey town.
no, me neither. I don't think it is. So now we got the IC title match. It is Val Venus with Ryan Shamrock taking on BA Billy Gunn. And let's see. So it was Ryan Shamrock with the help of Billy Gunn essentially that helped Val Venus win the IC title the night before St. Valentine's Day Massacre. So don't forget that Billy Gunn actually made a quick count because he was the ref. But the more important part of this story was it was Ryan Shamrock who helped. So at the end of the match here, Shamrock goes on top of the apron. She's like walking around, and there's an Irish whip, I think by Val Venus to Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn inadvertently knocks Shamrock off the ring, and she gets hurt. But Val Venus ends up retaining here. It was a very quick match, about 2 minutes. So after the match, Shamrock's obviously a little hurt. She gets up with the help of Val Venus. Val Venus grabs a mic, and I guess essentially Ryan Shamrock says, "We did it." You can't really hear her say it, but she kind of says, "We did it" to Val Venus, and Val Venus is like, "What? He's got the mic, so you obviously can hear him." He's like, "We." This belt's only around one person's waist, and that's mine. You did nothing. You can, and he's like, you can get out of here. He kicks her to the curve, and it's like, how dare Val Venus? This woman just helped him win the IC title. She essentially helped him keep it right here, and now he's just kicking her to the curve. As JR said, Val Venus just loves him and leaves him, as he says at some point during that little segment there. So, what do you think of this IC title match? Only 2 minutes of a match here.
Did they just turn Val Venus heel, or is it supposed to be like his character? Like, oh well, that's just Val Venus. He likes to fuck women and ruin their lives, and then just discard them. Oh, that
Val
old
was,
scamp.
Val was already a heel. He
Was he?
remember the whole storyline with Ken Shamrock. He's messing
Oh,
around with Ken
but isn't Ken
Shamrock.
Shamrock heel because he's part of a corporation?
Essentially, yeah. But for that storyline there, Shamrock kind of come off. He was the baby face in that storyline because, this guy's messing with his sister.
Well, this is the Attitude Era. Common sense says he's the face, but it's the Attitude Era, so it's like, yeah, fuck his sister, yeah, let's go. That's why King was like, haha, yeah, that's what I always do. I always fuck him and leave him, haha. But they're very young.
But no, obviously.
I wait for them to get out of recess. Woohoo!
But no, yeah, Val Venus was definitely the heel in this situation, no doubt about it. So now they go to commercial after all this, and Billy Gunn, when they come back from commercial, is kind of telling Ryan Shamrock, sorry about what happened, blah, blah, blah. But Ken Shamrock comes in, Billy Gunn, as the WWE officials stop him there. What did you think of this quick little segment here?
Ken Shamrock here to save the day, and instead of attacking the person who actually upset his sister, he's like, "Fuck you, Billy Gunn! I'm done feuding with Val Venus. I want your fucking ass now."
So Muhammad says, "I don't think Shamrock was the babyface because he was portrayed as a deranged and paranoid brother who wouldn't let Ryan date any one of her children." That's a good point. Maybe what
To be
made
fair, though, it is Val Venus.
right.
He's like the Quagmire of
Yeah,
freaking WWF.
that's a good point.
I don't think you want him to be. I don't think you want your sister to be around that freaking monster
Yeah,
who can
that's
apparently make his dick disappear on command.
see the reason why it's something not just that, but the reason why I always look at Shamrock as the baby face is because like it's always that's always gonna be how like the little brother acts though. He's hanging around my sister. I don't like that. That's kind of a storyline that you would see on a television show, and that would always be the kind of the baby face thing
Well, I
to
mean,
do is the
they
stand up
ran. They kind of ran back the storyline later in the year when it was
Shane.
Tess dating
Yep,
Stephanie,
yep.
and so she's like, "You can't date my sister," and Tess was like, "Watch me, motherfucker!
But
I'll kick I'll kick your ass."
it also that one there was no doubt that Shane was the heel there, but they also kind of made it to where like Stephanie was like, you know, there's no issue here. I love Tess. Blah blah blah. They never really had that with Ken Ryan Shamrock. Ryan wasn't really acting like that, but I love Val Venus. You're doing this for no reason. That's kind of what Stephanie was saying. That's why
That was pre amnesia Stephanie too.
right, which would happen at one of the was it Insurrect? Oh no, Rebellion '99.
Yeah, we got to cover that one day. We got to cover that show one day because
Definitely,
that's
definitely.
absolutely hilarious. Bulldog just being a fucking dick all night.
We can definitely cover that one day. Now we have the Ministry of Darkness. They are walking to the gorilla position essentially as we're going to break. They come back from break, and Ministry comes out, and Undertaker warns Mr. McMahon that the WWE will soon belong to him, and his wrestlers will come under his ministry. Taker says that Ministry will let the boss man go after taking him last night, and that Ministry is powerful enough to destroy the corporation. Big Boss Man comes out and issues a challenge for a six-man tag match between three members of Ministry and three members of Corporation. And Boss Man was a hold on. And the problem with that is Boss Man was abducted last night, and it's unclear what significance that has. Oh, so yeah. So that's essentially the segment. Boss Man challenges the Ministry to a six-man tag match. I work for the higher power.
No, it was he pronounced it once. Howa Powa.
How was that this show? Because
Not this show, but later on when they get closer to revealing who the higher
right,
power is, he's
right.
like, "I work for the higher power."
I gotta look for that. I've never caught that. I know the higher power storyline too, obviously. So, what did you think of this little segment right here with Ministry and Big Boss
Well,
Man?
knowing how the higher power ends, it's very weird to see Undertaker like, "Your wrestlers will come under my control," and Vince is like, "Good. I hope that I will destroy the corporation. Yes, you will. Thank you. That's what I. That's a
That's
good job. That's what I want."
that's called from storyline wise. That's called pulling the wool over everybody's head. That's
Yeah, I don't
what the
think they had to plan
storyline.
that. I don't think they had to plan that this far, though.
Maybe they did. I don't know.
I don't think they knew what they were doing week to week half the time, though. Hey, boss
Now
man,
they are.
we're gonna hang you from hell in a cell. Sweet. You're gonna eat this dog. Sweet.
Oh, now that angle was great. That angle was phenomenal.
You're gonna drag the Big Show's
Bossman, wait, Bossman was
father.
another great angle. Bossman was one of the better heels in 1999. I'm telling you, some of the shit they made him do. Oh my, they had him do.
He's,
That's heel stuff, right? That's an
Well,
actual
you see,
heel.
my kayfabe headcanon is that uh, after whatever the Undertaker did to him last night at St. Valentine's Massacre, it just turned him like pure evil to a point where he can fucking kill a dog
Mm.
and
And make
drag a
somebody
man
else.
drag a man's body.
Yeah. He made somebody else. You said Boss Man were gonna make you eat a dog. No, Boss Man made Al Snow eat a dog.
Made else know
Yeah.
how does pepper taste?
um
What a
so
Jesus Christ! Fall of 1999 was a wild ass
time.
time
Great.
in
It
WWF.
was a great time. So now we have Shane McMahon. He's training backstage with Kane and China, and then that's where we go straight into that tag match. This was another short match, but it was pretty good. Nice, good crowd reaction. But X Pac, or excuse me, Shane McMahon gets the win after China hit X Pac with the belt. So Shane McMahon is the new European champion. What did you think of this tag match here?
I think this would have been Shane's first match because
Yeah, yeah. He
because
never
this
wrestled
was
in
before they. No, because he turned heel literally like towards the end of '98, and they wouldn't have
yeah,
had him have a match by
yeah. This
then.
has, which that it
And then
might make a ton of sense why he would be training in the last
yeah,
segment there right before the match.
little
I'm pretty sure
little did
this
we know
was.
that he'd have a lot of matches.
Yeah. So yeah,
Plenty of Shane
probably
McMahon
don't
matches.
quote. Yeah, don't quote me and don't quote Tro on this, but we're pretty much 100% sure that that was Shane McMahon's first match. Pretty much.
Yeah, it wasn't like the storyline like going into WrestleMania, other than the him having the Mean Street Posse being like, "Well, Shane's never had a one-on-one match before, so how is he going
Right.
to do against X Pac?"
There you go. A Mean Street Posse. I can't wait till we get to them. They were hilarious. But now we have after that they go to commercial. Coming back from break, we have Corporation celebrating Shane's title victory, and they are pouring champagne like he just won the World Series over Shane McMahon's head, where Kane just turns away and like, yeah, he's like, he doesn't even want to see it.
I do not drink alcohol.
So now we have a hardcore title match. Bob Holly taking on Steve Blackman. And I always say I love hardcore matches. This one really it was very short. And it just didn't feel like they really did a lot in the time
Well,
that
this
they
is
had.
This is pre Lethal Weapon, Steve
Right.
Blackman.
But
This
this
is
was also
just Steve Blackman.
yeah. This was also the night after Bob Holly was essentially swimming in the Mississippi River. So he's doing another hardcore match. He's outside in the cold once again. So they made sure not to have a really long match. But yeah, not much to say about this except for the fact that the late draws interferes on Bob Holly's behalf to help him win. And the reason for that was it was payback because Steve Blackman was standing up for Kevin Kelly when Droz was bullying Kevin Kelly about a week ago before this show. So after the match, Bob
Baby.
Holly gets on the mic and says that he is hardcore and that he will accept all challengers for his championship match. And Bart Gunn, of all people,
Bart
interrupts
Gunn, Jesus Christ.
Bob Holly, telling him that, you know, I need a shot at the hardcore title. To which Holly was like, well, hey, listen, you're the only one. I'm the only one, excuse me, who you didn't knock out. at the Brawl for All. So you're on. There you go. We got Bob Holly versus Bart Gunn, I believe, next week on Raw. So that will be a part of our next show. What did you think of the hardcore title match, the very short one, as well as what followed there with Bart Gunn? Before you say that, Christian says, "What's up?" And what's up, Christian? And so Muhammad also, unrelated, but nearly a month later, Kurt Angle. Oh yeah. Well, it was not televised, but yeah, nearly a month later, Kurt Angle would make his
I think it was on
unofficial.
Heat.
Oh, it was on Heat, so it was okay. It was. So it was sort of like an unofficial, but officially he makes his main event. He didn't wrestle yet, so that's why.
No.
But technically, this would be his television debut. Kurt Angle made his debut as a fan, suplexing Tiger Ali Singh and blowing his nose with the Indian flag, and it created nationwide fury. So yeah, well, obviously, blow your nose on the flag. That's gonna create some controversy, obviously. So what did you think of the hardcore match, and then the promo between Holly and Bart Gunn that followed?
Oh, I thought the match was okay, but seeing Bart Gunn, who has not made an appearance since winning the brawl for all, which he wasn't supposed to do. Oh, that'll teach him. How dare you win this shoot battle? We wanted Dr. Death to win. You bastard. So
It's
guess what
funny.
we're gonna do? We're gonna bring you back. You're gonna face Hardcore Holly, and then you get your ass kicked at WrestleMania, and you're gonna be forgotten.
It's funny too because the Brawl for All was actually referenced like right after the hardcore match, where I'm not Jr. Jerry Lawler said, "Oh, it's just like the Brawl for All. Well, everybody's gonna get hurt." And it's like, wow, say that. I wonder how the guys who actually did get hurt in the Brawl for All felt about that line.
You don't get hurt. Meanwhile, I think Steve doesn't like Heel Jr. come out like 3 weeks from now or something.
Yeah, it was somewhere around 2-3 weeks from now. Yes.
King's like, no one gets hurt. Here comes Steve
No, he said
Williams.
No, he says they do get hurt. He says like you're guaranteed to get hurt. It's like he's bragging about the injuries from the Brawl for All.
You got your ass kicked.
These are
Here
legitimate.
comes Steve Williams. It's like my career got ruined by this fucking tournament, you asshole.
These are legitimately serious injuries that even Blackman was in that hardcore match. He was one of the guys that got hurt. And it's Dr. Death, all these guys. Muhammad talking about the Kurt Angle thing. Kurt Angle had to issue a public apology and was charged with contempt, indifference to non-alignment by Indian Supreme Court over it. See, now this I did not know about. Wow. That's
Well, you
crazy.
see, if you do that here in America, we just say "fuck you" and
Right.
you just go on with your day.
Well, it's a free country. You can do whatever you want with, in terms of like not committing actual crimes, but like, in terms of like blowing your nose on the flag, people are gonna hate you for it, but I don't think you'll have any,
If Kurt's doing suplexes, I guess at this point he probably would have been training.
Yes.
Which means we had now, the WWE Vault YouTube channel.
Yeah.
They've been uploading. They upload like really random stuff that they find in the vault.
Yeah.
I am very curious to know if they somehow have footage of Kurt Angle versus Owen Hart.
Oh, they should. They should.
I think they trained, and I think they would have had a dark
match. They did. They had
a dark. And that would have been in May, obviously, because Owen died late May. Right. So that probably wouldn't have been that wouldn't have been peak. That would have been peak Kurt. Yeah. But still.
I mean, it was a dark match. The cameras are rolling during dark matches.
So I mean, yeah,
somewhere.
they've posted a couple of dark matches before. They had freaking what's his name's whole dark match run the other day.
There are people on YouTube who had, and I know you know this, but there are people who had like the satellite feeds, and
Yeah,
they upload like full satellite episodes on YouTube. Muhammad says, "I shuddered to think what HBK would have faced if he did what he did to the Canadian flag in Montreal to any South Asian flag." Uh, he did. I would say what he did was maybe worse, or well, probably about the same thing.
I mean,
He put the
he blew
flag
his
up his nose, up his
yeah.
nose. Like I guess it's pretty much the same thing. Blowing your nose, putting it up your. But yeah, he probably would have faced the same thing that Kurt Angle had.
He's not freaking goose stepping in freaking Germany like JBL did.
Oh yeah, well, damn, that JBL. I mean, JBL
Look at
was.
me. I'm a heel. I can break the law here. Wait, what do you mean I can't break the law? I'm JBL. Damn it.
Shit. Yeah, that cost JBL a lot.
You know, I think it was one of the South American countries. Chris Jericho. I think he blew his nose in one of their flags, and he had to apologize because there was gonna be like a legit riot.
So Muhammad was actually talking about something else that Shawn did. He says, "Nah, Shawn Michaels performed sexual stimulation before his match with Brett at Survivor '97." So this both the situations we were talking about happened around the same time in '97, where Shawn put the Canadian flag up his nose, and yeah, then he did that at Survivor. Yeah, that would be worse than blowing your nose.
No, wait, hold on a second. Now think about this. Shawn knows that Bret Hart's gonna be screwed, and he's gonna lie about it later. And here he is, pre-match, knowing that this is gonna be like the biggest shit show ever, and he's just thumping the Canadian flag. He's like, "Yeah, you think I'm fucking you now, Canada? Wait until the end of the match. You're gonna be really fucked."
Shawn, did you have anything to do with that?
I swear, bro. I swear. I didn't know a thing. And Triple H is in the corner.
To be fair, Shawn was told to like don't take any don't tell him no if he asks, if anybody asks. Don't take any blame. I mean, yeah.
Triple H is in the corner. Well, Brett, you shouldn't have done that, buddy. Brett screwed Brett. Jim Cornette, wasn't it your idea? Get the fuck away from me, you motherfucker.
Muhammad again, the signs of the crowd was brutal. I'll never forget HBK. You can see what it says on the screen. I'm not going to use that word. Sign, laugh my ass off.
It was a different time. It was 97.
It was definitely a different time. Yes. All right, so we got to get back to the show. Where are we at here? Okay, so yeah, that's coming off Bart Gunn and Bob Holly. So Kevin Kelly interviews women's champion Sable, and Sable announces she will be on the cover of the March 8th edition of Playboy magazine, and she's gloating about media appearances and stuff. And then at the end of the segment, this stalker who we have seen around Sable these past couple of weeks walks into the ring and is like, "Sable, I love you, blah, blah, blah." It's obviously, we know now it's Tori. Back then, nobody really knew because obviously this was brand new. But it was Tori. Sable kind of puts Tori in her place, you're a creep, blah, blah, blah. And that was the end of that. This was obviously building towards Sable versus Tori at WrestleMania 15. That was a bit of a good segment there. What do you think about this?
The stalker turns out to be Mark Miro. Sable, please. I want a payday. I'm desperate. You literally ruined my career. Oh, Stone Cold doesn't want to work with me because I took a Sable bomb. You ruined
That
my
was a
life, you
great name.
motherfucker.
Why the hell did Stone Cold really not want to work with him just because he took a Sable bomb?
Yeah, he's like,
Is that true?
I'm not gonna freaking sell for this guy who just got fucking beat up by a woman.
That's so stupid.
that
Yeah,
was
the
that was
crowd.
like that was like '98 too.
Yeah, it was Survivor. It was Survivor Series 1998. They had it was Sable versus Jacqueline with Mero in her corner, and Sable power bombed or Sable bombed, I guess. Mero on the outside, and the crowd went nuts for it. That I'm telling you, Sable versus Jacqueline was a very underrated match off that great pay per view. Even though Jacqueline was sort of a third wheel in that situation, but we've discussed a while back the whole third wheel situation. It's not always a bad thing when they set it up like they did
I
for
mean, it didn't work out. It didn't work out too well for Mark Miro.
I mean, in terms of like Austin not wanting to work, that's Austin's problem. I
Well, I mean,
mean,
it would have been a single match, but I'm just saying, like in general, his career trajectory. The second that Sable started showing up, went from
but
to oh dear God.
well, that's yeah. Well, Sable was popular as hell. That's the thing. Everybody wanted to see Sable. But what I mean is, if you watch that match, just listen to that crowd. They were into that match, even if Jacqueline wasn't really the main story. It was really Sable and Mark Mero that was the main story. But the crowd was into that, and that's why they went nuts when she Sable bombed him. When when a third wheel storyline is a problem, I've talked about this before, and Muhammad mentioned Survivor '97, the pay per view right after that, where Ken Shamrock is main eventing against Shawn Michaels for the WWE title. Ken Shamrock was playing third wheel to a guy who wasn't even in the company anymore. Every week on Raw, after Survivor Series, leading up to DX, Shawn Michaels is cutting promos on freaking Bret Hart. He ain't cutting them on Ken Shamrock.
Fuck that son of a bitch. Ken Shamrock's like, you dare say that? And Owen Hart's like, please, can I fight for my brother's honor? Shut up, Nugget.
Yeah, Muhammad, I don't know, man. He asked what happened to Tori. She just disappeared 2 years later. Tori was great, man. I don't know why she disappeared, but yeah, I wish I had an answer. She was
I
great.
don't I don't know what happened to
Yeah.
Tori. I know Sable eventually married Brock Lesnar and came back in '03, but
Yes. Well, obviously that was right after she like sued the company and stuff when she came back. But Vince McMahon
yeah,
always
see,
showed he'll do business with anybody. It doesn't matter if there's a
well,
dark.
well, you see, Sable's an example of someone who was absolutely horrible backstage and probably not a very good person, but was able to get her life at least somewhat better on track, unlike people like Sunny, who is currently right now rotting in jail as she should.
Yeah, yeah.
Most downloaded diva, and now the most freaking downloaded cellmate.
Sonny had it all, and she threw it all away. There's no other way to say it. She was on top of the world, and the second biggest down, maybe even now the third biggest downfall, if you add Vince. The third biggest downfall in the history of the company, the history of the business. Truthfully, you got Mr. McMahon, Benoit, and then Sonny, pretty much.
She went from having sex with Elmo on Shotgun Saturday Night to being in prison.
Yeah. Well.
What a that's a
Anyway,
downfall.
we have Mr. McMahon shown backstage giving instructions to The Rock. Again, the main event is the ladder match for the WWE title. Now we have Butterbean. Mention the Brawl for
Oh
All.
God.
The Brawl for
Oh
All is
no.
randomly. Yeah, the Brawl for All is randomly being brought up again. And now we know why. Butterbean is in the crowd here. And Michael Cole says there's a hot rumor that Butterbean wants to fight Bart Gunn in the Brawl for All. As much as I love the Attitude Era, as much as I love the Attitude Era, this is the Brawl for All is one thing. Look, guys get hurt, that's fine. As they say, this ain't ballet. I understand guys got hurt. That's not my problem with the Brawl for All. My problem with the Brawl for All has always been pro wrestling and fight sports, in this case boxing, but I guess it was like a mixture of boxing and mixed martial arts.
Yeah, this was before UFC was like UFC, but they were like, "Hey, let's try some of that," and then they literally. I think Bart Gunn was like one of the only people who actually said, "Okay, I'll try some takedowns." Everyone else was like, "Oh, just boxing, bang, boom, boom, boom."
Right. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a fan of fight sports, so the Brawl for All just wasn't my cup of tea, and that's why I really didn't care about it. But now it's like, okay, you did it, let it go. But no, we gotta have
I think
Butterbean at WrestleMania, which we will cover that soon.
we got, we gotta punish Bart Gunn for winning the freaking Brawl for All. You're not going to be on TV until freaking February, and then you're going to come back, face Hardcore Holly, and then get your ass kicked at WrestleMania 15.
The
Now,
thing is, they didn't know what to do with Bart Gunn after that, and obviously, what are you gonna do with him? All he did was win a bunch of fights. That's not pro wrestling. Just because you won a bunch of fights doesn't mean you have charisma.
Well, if what's his name? If Dr. Death would have won, they would have had a feud with him in him in Austin, but he didn't win.
Bart Gunn feuding with Stone Cold Steve Austin, yeah, that's gonna sell a lot of tickets. Like, come on now, like,
but
that'll put
Butterbean said Bart Gunn would have had a better chance of beating him if he had actually tried to take it, take him down. But the moment he saw Bart Gunn start trying to throw punches, like, oh no.
I think Bart Gunn got into the whole, like, wrestlers can't hang with boxers thing. So he's like, oh, I'm going to show him. I'm going to knock out a boxer. That's what I think would happen. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm obviously not Bart Gunn. I can't tell you what his mindset is, but that's what
I think it was just because I think it was just a straight up boxing match at WrestleMania. It wasn't like it wasn't for Brawl for All rules. Because if it was Brawl for All rules, then maybe he would have tried to take down. But if it was straight up boxing, Butterbean's gonna kill him.
Well, if you watch the fight, at one point Jerry Lawler does say, "Go for a takedown." I think he was talking about Bart. He says, like, on commentary, "Go for the takedown." Go literally right before Butterbean knocked him out. I think Jerry Lawler.
Well, that is Jerry Lawler. He says a lot of he doesn't always pay attention to what's happening.
They called it a Brawl for All match, though. So was it a? I don't know.
Butterbean's actually turned his life around as of late. Not that he wasn't doing drugs or anything, but he wasn't able to like really walk. But he's been doing DDP yoga, and now he's like, "Hey, I want one more fight. I can still do one more fight." Bart Gunn's like, "No, not again." WrestleMania 41 rematch: Bart Gunn, Butterbean.
If there was like a Hall of Fame for like good people, DDP should be first ballot. He's turned a lot of lives around.
They have the Warrior Award, but
I meant that's in terms of wrestling, yeah. But I meant like overall, like in the world.
Oh yeah, no,
good people.
He saved. If it wasn't for DDP, Jake Roberts would have been dead like 10 years ago. And Scott Hall would have died much sooner than he did.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. He brought a lot of years for Scott. But yeah, the Warrior Award, that's a good idea too. DDP should get the Warrior Award. I agree with that.
Yeah, especially since they set up they should just change the name, obviously, because Warrior was a horrible person. But And the award's not even the award is not literally down to one person that he actually wanted it to go to because the whole idea was, oh, it should go to like backstage people like the seamstress or the person helping out.
Right.
Instead, they've just been using it as PR, like this random guy, this guy. They did give it to Shad Gaspar the one year, which
Yeah,
was
he deserved it.
uh, they should honestly change it to Shad Gaspar Award
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that dude was an actual good person, not a
yeah.
freaking warrior who turned his life around towards the end.
I mean, he still did turn his life around. You give him that, but I'm somebody who's actually a fan of the performer Ultimate Warrior, but I do agree. Like, if there's anybody who would deserve to have, you know, association with an award like that, don't know if Ultimate Warrior would be the guy.
Well, they kept on freaking bringing out his freaking wife every year, and she
Yeah,
would pretty much take up most of the time. Like, here's my husband's award. Here's the recipient. I'm gonna talk for the next 10 minutes about how wonderful my husband was, even though even though he said stuff like queering does not make the world work.
yeah, that was horrible. I've seen that interview. And boy, shout out to the kids in the that was when he was like in a school. He was like talking
Yeah.
to kids, right? Yeah, and the kids they clap back at him. And shout out to those kids because rightfully so.
Also traumatized Triple H. Just once Triple H lost at WrestleMania 12 in like one
No,
minute, Triple H's like, I'm never gonna lose like that again. Once I become world champion, I'm gonna have a reign of terror. I'm never gonna lose, baby.
see, I
And then
disagree.
they're
I
then they're
disagree.
gonna have they're gonna have DVDs where one DVD, depending on how WWE feels about him, one DVD it's gonna be like that warrior, that piece of fucking shit.
I
Fuck
have that.
him,
I have that DVD. That's self
and then once he's in good graces, it's like it was a real honor to face Warrior at WrestleMania 12. That really did great one numbers for my career.
I mean, I will say this about the WrestleMania 12 match. That was great. That was great. Everybody wants to act like just because you lose a fake fight, your career's
I
over.
mean, but
Which
I mean,
it's not.
my problem with it is that he knows so the pedigree. That's the finisher. Come on, at least somewhat. At least kick out at 2 or 1. Don't just go. Oh, I'm right back up.
And as he no sold the finish, the crowd was going wild. They were going nuts
But that
for
was
it.
that was also pre freaking that was a pre curtain call too, which is
It was.
wild.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't even punishment for Triple H. He just had to work the Warrior.
That was a great moment. The internet will tell you it wasn't, but it was. It was a great moment. The crowd went nuts.
Yeah,
And I have talked about the reign of terror a ton on here. That
it
Triple H was one of the best heels in the company back then when they were doing that. And
ratings say otherwise.
for everybody that says, Triple H didn't.
It was a reign of terror. I mean, he literally held that title hostage for too long. He dropped every year he would drop it, but
Exactly.
he would drop it to Goldberg. Like,
As he
ooh,
should. As he should. Who is the
he
next
should
big
have he should have
star?
he should have dropped it at SummerSlam to Goldberg, not at
See,
freaking
no, I disagree.
Unforgiven.
We've discussed SummerSlam '03. I had no problem with what they did. Goldberg's got to face a little bit of how do you say what's the word? Um,
But
oh
he
my
was
god,
so hot.
I understand,
And that would
but
have been his first. That would have been his first loss too.
yeah, that the thing
To an injured Triple H too. By the way,
I like Goldberg, but I don't like the storyline of guy just barrels through everybody, blah bang bang bang, easy 1 2 3, quick win, quick win, quick win, and they were going with that at SummerSlam. It looked like it. Because he goes in there, bang, bang, this guy's eliminated, that guy's eliminated, that guy's eliminated. Until Ric Flair throws in the hammer, and bang, Triple H hits him with the hammer. 1 2 3, and then they assault him after the match. That was a great way to build up to Unforgiven and put Goldberg in a situation that he had pretty much never been in his career, where now he is on the losing side. He's getting demolished. He's going through. I'm trying to remember which word I'm trying to say here. He's
I
going
think the
through.
NWO killed him a few times.
Yeah, they did a few times, but I don't want to say the underdog, but he's kind of going through. Oh my gosh! Well, look back at my Survivor SummerSlam '03 review because I explained my feelings on that match, and I have no problem with it. And then Goldberg won. Goldberg, for everybody says that Triple H buried everybody. Goldberg literally pinned
No,
Triple H in the middle of the ring on 2 straight pay-per-view, 2 straight Raw.
I won't say he buried Goldberg because that'd be silly because he did.
He
Yeah,
didn't
you know, he
bury
did. He
anybody.
did.
He didn't bury
Uh, Booker T. He
Booker.
kind of yeah.
No,
That was a long ass sell for the pedigree there. He
Booker
should have kicked out.
Booker T looked damn good in a match with Triple H on the biggest stage of them all, and he beat Triple H up so badly in that match. That's a story. That's why Triple H crawled so quickly, not quickly, so long.
It was the complete opposite of quick.
Yeah,
That was one of the biggest problems with
that's
it.
what I meant. He crawled so slowly, is what I meant to say, to get to Booker T because Booker T beat him up so badly in that match that
Yeah, but Booker T should have kicked out. Like you could still have Triple H win. Probably not the best decision
okay,
given the
okay.
context. But I'm just saying, have
Now
Booker T kick out at like 2.5, and then have Booker T go for like the scissors kick, but then Triple H reverse it into the pedigree. Boom.
see now that this is the first time that I've ever actually heard somebody give me a good reason as to why that finish was wrong and why there'd be an actual better way to end it. I don't disagree with you on that. My opinion still stands. I still believe that that's what they were going for. That Triple H was beaten so bad. But even if you do it that way, fine. I'll have no problem with that. But I've always said in terms of Booker T actually winning that match, Booker T was not ready to be the world champion on Raw. I'm sorry to tell you.
He was pretty over.
I wouldn't deny that, but I think he was much better championship material when he became King Booker. And that's why when he became King Booker, he was world champ. You know?
Well, that and because they're like, oh Ray, you keep on Ray, you're not exactly doing anything here. We're kind of tired of having we're kind of tired of using Eddie Guerrero as an excuse for everything. So
All right, we got 2 more things to go over here because you got to go
yep,
soon. So we'll get
yeah, very
through
soon.
these last these last 2
My
things.
camera is off for a reason.
No, I know. Big Boss Man, Ken Shamrock, and Teth take on Acolytes and Midian in a no contest. It was only about 2 minutes, 50 seconds. Nothing much to talk about. Is what happens after that you talk about. The whole ministry come out outside of the guys who are already in this 6-man. They come out with Shane McMahon, and Undertaker says, "You know what?" And Shane McMahon, they bring Shane McMahon like right to Undertaker, where Shane's like kneeled down, and Undertaker's like, "You know what? If I knew you, if I wanted to, I would hit you right now, but I know your dad would love that." And then he presents him with a document, tells him to give that to his dad, Mr. McMahon. That was a cool little segment. The match itself, not much to talk about. And then we got the main event. Do you have anything you want to add to any of that whole ministry?
Undertaker's like, I know if I hit you, your father would love that. He's a real sick fuck.
So now we have main event.
Maybe.
What was that?
He's like, maybe I'll kick your sister's ass. And he's like, no, people aren't supposed to know I have a sister yet.
So now we have main event ladder match, Rock versus Mankind. This was a really fun match.
First ever ladder match, by the way, on Raw.
On Raw, yes, on Raw. The first ever ladder match in WWE history actually took place the day before I was born. That'd be Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. That took place the day before I was born.
Yeah, they're starting to
Anyway, you had
acknowledge that as
Austin.
the first one.
Yeah. Austin was on commentary. This is pretty funny. They were doing the whole all throughout the night. Michael Cole was like, "Lawler, just wait until Austin gets here. You're gonna have a horrible time once Austin comes here and he hears about all the stuff you've been saying about him." And then just as Austin's walking to the ring, not to the ring, to the table, Jerry Lawler's like, I just want to say Stone Cold Steve Austin's a great guy. Big win for him last night at the pay-per-view, blah, blah, blah. It's as though he's saying this. As funny as it is, I love when heels do that. But as funny as it is, he's saying that as Austin is literally walking to the table. He's not saying that after Austin grabs the headphones. So in reality, like, what are you doing to help yourself there? Austin can't hear you yet. But anyway, Austin was great.
I can't hear you, son.
Austin is always great on commentary. This part no different. Obviously, they did this ladder match so we can set up Rock versus Austin. And look, nothing against Mick Foley in any way, but a one-on-one main event, main attraction WrestleMania match. I mean, no disrespect to Mick Foley, but you're going to have Austin and Rock. You're not going to have Mick Foley in there. And it's great that Mick Foley ultimately got his WrestleMania moment. The main event he had, and it was a four-way, obviously.
That was a bit of a mistake, too.
I don't think that was a mistake. He gave Foley his moment. Foley,
but think about this. Imagine his career ends in the Hell in a Cell, and he doesn't. Because like even though like whole reason was like pretty shoehorned. Like Linda McMahon comes out, hey motherfuckers, guess what? Remember how the stipulation was if Mick Foley loses, he's done. Well, guess what? He's back, and he's coming for the WWE title.
Okay, so you're talking from the standpoint of you just retired the guy. See, that I agree with. Though in terms of you could have had him retire, you could have had the Hell in a Cell match at Backlash, and then he retires there.
No Way Out.
No, I'm saying it was at No Way Out, but I'm saying No Way Out was before Mania. You have him retire, then he comes back literally a month later. I agree with that. That was a problem. And that's why I'm saying after he main events WrestleMania, you could have the Hell in a Cell match at Backlash.
Yeah.
Triple H I think Triple H did retain at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, it was one of the few times the heels actually won to end WrestleMania.
So there you go. You still could have had the Hell in a Cell at Backlash, and then Foley rides off in the sunset. And then later that summer, he becomes commissioner. And that's perfect. He really did retire. He's no longer in ring. He's now the commissioner. But in terms of the main event, I thought it was really Mankind had The Rock on top of the ladder with the Sacco in his mouth. That's funny. Paul Wright, obviously Big Show, came in and choke slammed Mankind off the ladder. Mankind at one point in the match actually fell off the ladder because Rock pushed it, and Mankind fell into the ropes, sort of like how when he always has his head in the ropes, and of course he lost his ear that way. Well, he fell arm first with his arm wrapped around the ropes. That was pretty cool. And then late after the match, I believe The Rock actually just dropped the ladder on Mankind's face at one point. That was pretty crazy. But yeah, that would be if I had to pick up. Yeah, if I had to pick a match of the night, it's up to. There's only two matches really that could be in that: the tag match and then this ladder match. Tag match between Triple H, X-Pac, and then Shane and Kane. But I would give it to this match here. This was a really good ladder match here. There was a Attitude Extra where the show, after the show goes off air, this would be on Peacock or on the network, depending on where you are, where Austin sneaks into the ring and gives The Rock the stunner. Pretty cool. I love that WWE Network provides the Yeah. Uh, muted. Oh shit.
Yep.
Oh. So,
But
oh, I don't know if anybody heard me right there. So, overall rating
I
for
think
the
you did.
show. Okay. So, what would your overall rating be?
Let's give it a 5.5 out of 10.
Okay, so I give it 8.5 out of 10. Tro gives it 5.5. So we will be continuing this with our next show should be, let's see, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. The February 22nd, 1999 Raw. We're continuing the road to WrestleMania 15. That will be our next show. We got to go here because Tro is busy. He's got to leave. So thank you to anybody who's watched. Thank you to Muhammad. Thank you to Christian. And we will see you sometime later.
We promise we won't be doing it during the Islanders run.
Yeah, no, this won't take as long as the break from when we did the pay-per-view to here today. We uh we probably will do another Raw sometime this week, the next show. So thank you to everybody. See you later. And